Hello friends, I've got a new product I'm excited to share with you today. It is my Creative Cutter Raindrops, and I've got just a few of the colors here as you can see. I've got quite a variety, I think, 12 colors for right now. And if you're familiar with the Glimmer Mist product, it is very similar. My product is homemade. But it's at a much better cost for you. Now what Glimmer Mist does, for those of you not familiar with the product, is it adds a glimmer. Now I'm being really careful to say glimmer and not glitter because it is a slightly different look than just spraying on glitter. It adds a shine, and I hope you can get a good look at that, and I realize on camera you're not going to be able to tell how gorgeous this is. Okay, as we start to work with the product, a couple of things you want to know. If you're familiar with Glimmer Mist, then these are tips you already know. But a lot of times the glimmer and the shine tends to settle at the bottom of the bottle. So what you want to do is tap, tap, tap. Oh, just checking the camera. Tap, tap, tap to make sure that the product is being mixed in thoroughly. And you want to avoid shaking, because what shaking does, some of the products do have glitter, and the shaking can cause the nozzle to clog up and the sprayer to jam. So instead you want to tap, 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 and I've put that on the front of the bottle. Tap the bottle before each use. These are 2-ounce bottles, and so you've got plenty to work with. The other tip that you need is a work surface, and you can have either a box like I have back here, or some kind of craft mat. Now they do sell kind of pricey craft mats that work fabulously well in the kind of Teflon, but I just got this little placemat at the dollar store and it works fantastic. So you can work on there or you can work in the box. I'm first going to try it here in the box, so I'm just going to put it. You don't have to work with white cardstock, but it is fun to watch regular white paper turn into other colors like you can see here on these flowers. These started off as white and then just became a different color. Now with your mister, it's not a continuous pump, so you don't want to spray, because what happens is, like I just did, you're going to clog up the sprayer. What you want to do, get a clog in your sprayer because you've been pumping, is you just take a little pin, and I like to use these little pearlized pins, and just poke the sprayer here. Chances are you've had a piece of glitter get stuck there from the product. So you want to just clear that, and then you're ready to spray again. Now it doesn't have to be, like I said, white paper, but you can see on white paper just how fantastic this is, and I hope they're not getting a glare here. Let me see if I can turn off the light so that you can catch that shine. So now one of the things with the mist is that you can dry it. That causes the shine to come out even more. So I'm just going to use mine for a little bit. You can see why I call this product Raindrops. I love the look of the rain sparkling on the paper. And I'm going to try and get a close-up here for you. Oops, wrong way. So that shine is just beautiful, and I don't know that you can appreciate it on camera, but for those of you, oh, there you can kind of catch a little glimmer of it. Okay, for those of you that have used Glimmer Mist in the past, you know what you're looking at. This shimmer and shine is really just beautiful, and you can see the sparkle there. Just got to catch the light right. And then you just change the color of your paper. Now you can add depth of color by leaving it pretty light. This is my olivey color, but you can continue to make it dark. So I'm just going to work right here. Hope you can get a good look at that. Now another thing you want to have handy is a paper towel. The reason is because not everyone likes the raindrop look, this little splattered effect. Sometimes you just want a nice clean sheen on that. And so what you want to do is spray it, and those dots that you see, you can just rub. Now the glimmer will stay, but you'll just have a smooth effect. And I'm going to just hit this with a little heat. The nice thing about working on a craft mat is you can see how the glimmer also stays on the mat, and you can just pick all of that up, kind of like sopping it up, and again you get more texture and dimension. You get layers of color. Now what you don't want to do with your sprayer, like I've mentioned, is pump, because that will jam it up. So what you want to do is just spray and let it rest. Now I kind of like that look. I'm going to hit that with a little bit of heat. And whoops, and then I'm also going to pick up these leftover splatters over here, and again I just think that adds to the dimension, and I'm going to rub some of that off. So you can see how you've taken just a plain white piece of paper, it was as bright shiny as this one, and just have added layers of color and aging and dimension. And if you were able to see this on camera, you would see that there is such a nice little glimmery shine to that. What I'm going to do, besides having put all that color on the paper, is also show you how you can stamp on it. And I'm just going to take this pattern stamp. I don't have a lot of these, but I'm starting to become a huge fan of these random patterns. I'm going to stamp it here with my ink pad. And put that down. Oops. I'm also going to get my UT. Actually, not UT, I'm sorry. This is my clear embossing powder. Okay, and then I'm going to hit it again with the heat gun. Now, if you're a stamper, a stamper or card maker, you can see why card makers love Glimmer Mist. So you've taken just a plain piece of white paper and you've added layers of dimension and glam. You can still stamp on this. I can still go back in and add, whoops, pull my little pump up here, and add another couple of drops. And I'm going to put that down, pat that dry, hit it with the heat. And I'm actually going to just go ahead and add another color. I've got for Christmas, I have a special cranberry color. I'm just going to shake that up. I'm just going to add random spots of color here. And again, I'm just going to smear that in. There's some on the mat that I'm going to pick up. Now, this is a messy process, I will warn you. But it is so much fun. And what you get is this beautiful watercolored looking piece of paper that you just couldn't get any other way except for with these sprays. And you can go crazy and add a third color, a fourth color. You can go in with watercolor pencils, pick up details, or with your Copics. But you can see how that's just a beautiful, beautiful shape and the dimension on that. So I'm going to set that aside for a minute and show you one other project that I think is a lot of fun for people these days, and that is these little doilies. Now, I just picked up a huge packet of these at the dollar store. Okay, so I want to show you another fun product that you can spray with Glimmer Mist. Let me just clean up this area right here. And it's these lace doilies. These lace doilies are available everywhere in lots of craft stores. I just happened to pick up a package of these at the dollar store again. Can you tell that's one of my favorite places? But they start off white, but of course that's always changeable. So what you want to do, and I've got this color called Ink Gold, and some of you know that I'm Peruvian. And so when I saw the chance to pick up an Inca Gold color, I went all over it. I love the shimmer and shine. This one is really subtle, so it won't change the color of the product a lot, but it just adds a fine mist of gold. Now, I was tempted to spray and spray and spray again. You want to really avoid doing that because you will clog up these sprayers. Oops, just hit that with a little bit of heat so I can add another layer. I'm going to spray again, set that down, and I'm going to pick up some of the color, and you can kind of see on the mat there all that color that's there, and I'm going to hit that with some more heat again. Now, there is, and you may not be able to see this, there's just a really subtle hint of gold on there, and I think it's just beautiful. It gives it just a little bit of shimmer and shine, and I really love that. If you have any of these flowers that you've created, what you can also do is just go back in with the gold and just give it a little spray of glimmer. So as you can see, it didn't change the color any, it just added this little hint of gold that now bounces off of that flower. So that's a really fun color that I like, and you can actually mix this one with most any other color for a really great effect. Now I do have some fun colors. This one is my periwinkle. So the bottle looks a little white. Let me show you another one of those. It starts off looking a little cloudy, and then you mix that up and look at this beautiful color that you end up with. Now to this gold one, I'm just going to keep adding color. Now you do want to be careful with the doilies because they're fairly thin, so you don't want to soak it too much, but I'm just going to add a second color to that so you can see the two work together. So I added some subtle raindrops, and for this one, because it's very wet, I'm going to tap it dry. And I'm going to add maybe another spray and just show you how those two subtle colors work together. Add some heat. And there you go. You've got two colors on there, and I could probably dry that some more. But I'm going to show you what this color looks like on the cardstock because I think it's really a beautiful look. And then I'll wipe that down. Add another, and I'm going to flip it over and pick up what's on my mat. You can see that look is just gorgeous. So you can see just a hint of that purpley blue kind of color and all of that glimmer and shine. I hope the camera's picking that up because it's just really beautiful. So now I'm going to go to the flowers that I wanted to show you. I have cut some Cricut shapes. Let me just wipe this area off. And you can see from my, my paper towel here how much color is all over the place on this. Now some of these colors are thicker than others, some are more subtle, and you can build them, you can work with them, some will become your favorites. I'm really a huge fan of this cranberry one right now. I'm loving the espresso. The purple one I think is gorgeous. But what you want to do with your Cricut is you're going to cut 3 flowers of one size. These are all 3-inch flowers from Accent Essentials. And this flower on Accent Essentials actually had an inside piece, and I just used my gypsy to remove that. And then this is the same flower at 2.5 inches, and again I took out the center piece. So what I'm going to do is spray all of these flowers. Now I'm going to do it here in the box, I hope, because these are going to kind of get everywhere. And I'm going to turn these, I believe, into let's see what color we should do. Some of this sky blue. I'm going to do some blue flowers here. Now, the nice thing about Glimmer Mist, it is a water-based product, so you are actually adding water to your paper, which is perfect for these shaped flowers, for these molded type flowers, because you are wetting them and coloring them at the same time. So that's what allows you to make the flowers at a really great Sorry, I'm just kind of concentrating on getting different variety. But the water allows you to texturize the flower, and then the color allows you to kind of add depth little by little. Now, this looks all really subtle, and I'm going to just hit it with a little bit of heat here. And I'm going to add a second layer of color. Again, I'm going to stay with the same blue. And you can see as you spray and add, that the color sort of deepens the more sprays you do. Now I want to definitely avoid the overspraying. Again, that does clog up the sprayer. While they're wet, what I'm going to do is wrinkle them up. Now you do get this all over your hands, so I apologize for the glittery hands. You're going